You know, it falls under the umbrella of leadership, but it's a different kind of leadership. It's causal leadership, because we all have something to give. We have to believe in that. And in my program and in my trainings and workshops, I encourage people to pull that out and own it, and own the understanding of how much impact you can have.
Lesson number 1. Leadership is a self-actualized process or series of events.
When I realized the enormity, and I realized that most people just had no idea, I decided to make this my life's work. I've been working with organizations like the American Academy of Pediatrics, helping them change some of their health policies so that when kids come in for well child checks, we have an adaptable approach. I'm working with the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, training public health officials about how do you partner better with families. How do we partner with families and kids in a way that's respectful and full of dignity? I work with federal agencies, the Federal Human Services Department, the Office of Civil Rights.
Lesson number 2. People experience a progression of leadership, an accumulation of skills, abilities, and knowledge that lead them to various degrees of impact.
People come out of my workshops and come away from my keynotes feeling like, what can I do? Now I want to do something to make a difference. And that happens because I share real stories of my journey of try to triumph, and understanding that as a parent of a child with a disability and all of the adversity that I faced in my journey, through all of that, at the center of all of that is still a desire to make a difference. How would I have ever known that by making the decision to choose empowerment and to choose to make a difference, that I would end up at the lawn of the White House? It happens. I am living proof. I have been there 3 times since.
Eileen F is a professional speaker and author who has become a leading voice for systemic change in healthcare, human services, professional associations, education, government, and nonprofit. Eileen presents key lessons around causal leadership, or causative actions, as a way of defining the next generation of leaders. They are open, adaptive, and active, promoting the power of the individual voice.
I'm talking about one person at a time, one change at a time will make a difference that's exponential. And we have to believe that that comes from here. It comes from all of us as individuals.
Drawing from her own personal life victories, Eileen F is recognized as the leading change agent for her work in family, community, and civic engagement.
When my daughter was 2 years old, she was diagnosed severe, profound mental retardation. Holly was 2 when we received that diagnosis. I was 9 months pregnant with my 3rd child, Cody. 5 days after that diagnosis, Cody was born. 5 months later, the 3 kids and I were living in a safe house, seeking refuge from domestic abuse. I was 28 years old. I had 3 kids under the age of 4. I was underprepared, undereducated. But at that time, my life took on new meaning, and it took on purpose and new perspective. 20 years later from that time, I answered my phone. I received a call from the office of the President of the United States, inviting me to join him at the White House in acknowledgement of my accomplishments and my contributions on behalf of children and families living with disabilities. So what I've learned in this, and ladies, I hope you'll see yourself in this, is that we go through this progression of leadership.
Based on her own life challenges and victories, Eileen teaches her audience to recognize the indicators of readiness within their employees' progression of leadership. Eileen consults with nonprofits and professional organizations about the need to do inreach before they do outreach as a more effective way of nurturing the causative leader.
Patients are content experts in healthcare. Patients and families are horizontal threads in these vertical systems that patients are navigating every single day. And when we engage the patient and the family as content experts in healthcare and as consultants in excellence and quality improvement, we will see a difference. We will make a change for healthcare.
On the very first day of school, the short bus pulls up. And I'm thinking, well, Holly doesn't need the short bus. I talked to the bus driver and they said, well, yes, because, you know, she qualifies under, she's got multiple handicaps. I'm like, I know that, but I didn't order the short bus. We need a little modification. All we need is for someone to sit next to her, and we need a seatbelt, that's all. Otherwise, why do we want to segregate this beautiful, wonderful young girl and put her on the short bus? So, working with the school district, which is the third largest district in the state, I created the Holly Bus Buddy program. So this was our compromise. In working for 18 months, working with special ed, general ed, transportation department, rules and regs, policy, our number one department we were working with was risk management. That's all that this was about. So I was nervous for that Tuesday afternoon and that evening, wondering, wow, this is pretty risky, we're new to the community. And the next morning, about 10 o'clock, I get a call from the school and the school principal, and she says, Eileen, you'll never guess, the envelope is overflowing. Every kid on the bus wants to be Holly's bus buddy. Yay for kids! That is the power of community. That is understanding that we need to think about our strengths. We need to think about the things we want to do and that we can do. And what I learned through that, or what was so clear to me at that time, is that sometimes the system that we're working in asks us to think in kind of a fear-based way, when really it's the community, and in this case the kids, the children, who looked through this through the lens of possibility.
Eileen gives her audience an insight into the champion mindset, lessons that inspire global thinking, and the impact of individual passion and commitment.
There are champions all around, and they're waiting to be cultivated into a place of being a change agent.
Eileen F has been recognized nationally for her work on behalf of individuals with disabilities. Eileen is the recipient of the Woman of the Year Award by the National Association of Professional Women for her excellence and dedication in representing women in leadership. She has been featured in national forums such as People Magazine, Family Support Magazine, and Oprah.
They were all in the van. I pull into McDonald's to get 5 Happy Meals. So I get to the first window, order my 5 Happy Meals. And as I'm driving from the first window to the second window, Holly's having a major grand mal seizure. Bad. She stops breathing. It's awful to watch. So as I got to the second window, I said, I'm sorry, my daughter's having a seizure. My daughter's having a seizure. I'm just going to pull over here. I'll be really quick. My daughter's having a seizure. I'm obviously communicating urgency, and I just said, I got to pull over. My daughter's having seizures. So I'm over there, I'm taking care of Holly, there's really nothing we can do, keep her airway, all those things. The kids are, you know, managing around me. And like in a couple of minutes later, this wonderful, giving staff member from McDonald's runs out with these 5 bags. And after things were settled, I looked in the bags, it was 5 Caesar salads.
Causal leadership. Contemporary lessons today for compelling causative leaders tomorrow.
And what I learned through all of that time, the most important thing to me at that time was to teach and model for my children resilience, that you're not defined by your circumstance, but rather we are all called to own our greatness at every step of the way.
For booking information, please contact the person who provided this program.